starts with liver, goes up to diabetes. If you don't get diabetes, you get heart. Because you are using too much of right side. Right side is responsible for your future, for your planning, for your creativity. And your body also works that power of action. So when you act, what you do, that you start using your right side too much and the left side freezes, by which your heart comes into action and it just stops. First, it sometimes gives one attack. Then you don't listen, you don't lie down, you don't rest, then second attack. Then the third, it finishes you. It's just to create the balance within. Another thing in the heart, as I told you, resides the spirit. When you go too much, I mean, some people I've seen do karate, then after karate, I don't know, they are all becoming wrestlers. Then they become wrestlers. I don't know. One fellow came to me, all his backbone like this. I said, now what is this? He said, Mother, I have done horse riding, polo. Then I have done motor racing, Grand Prix, all that. Jumping from the parachutes, you see, and all sorts of things. And then why did you do it? What was the need? And he broke all his bones. I mean, nicely broken back he was, just like this. I said, why were you after your life and after your backbone? What is the matter with you? Why did you do it? I couldn't understand. He said, Mother, I wanted to know why am I living. And I outlasted all these accidents. So there must be some meaning to my life. That's why I've come to. I said, but for that, my child, what was the need to break this backbone of yours? So I had to first put his backbone right. And now he is a realized soul. So this is what happens with human beings, that they do not pay attention to their spirit, which is in the heart. All the attention is outside. We are paying attention to, say, our physical being. For example, people are doing Hatha Yoga. Now, Hatha Yoga is, I don't know who has brought this kind of Hatha Yoga to the West. Hatha Yoga, as you know, is Ashtanga. There are 8 parts of Hatha Yoga. It is to be done till the age of only 25 years in the celibate condition. And the most important is Ishvara Pranidhana, means self-realization. Ishvara is your spirit. To achieve your self-realization first. And the exercises are only meant if you have a problem on these centers. But the way we do it indiscriminately, every sort of exercise we do, it is like taking all the medicines from the medicine chest without finding what's the matter with you. And we say we are Hatha Yogis. And such people catch on the heart. You'll be amazed. All the Hatha Yogis we can make out the way they catch their heart. We have 3-4 realized souls here who were real Hatha Yogis and also karate thing they did. So my problems are like this, that all my children have been up to something. And I have to first correct them. Then the Kundalini rises. She does. Actually, she's such a kind mother, such an affectionate mother, that she rises again and again and she cures and controls and balances. You will get your realization, I know, today. But again it will go down because you must have done something extreme. Now don't feel guilty. That's another fashion. Because if I say anything, there's another, this center catches on the left hand side, which should be because you feel guilty. That's one thing please don't do. That idea of feeling guilty is very wrong against your self-realization. Because you must know that God is compassion of love. And what mistakes can you commit? What guilt can you have? He will wash off all your guilts and He'll wash off all your problems. He is ocean of compassion. He's not just a drop somewhere. It's a complete ocean which is so powerful and which is going to work it out. So please do not develop this guilt when I'm telling you about it. It's all right. Whatever has happened is all happened. We have to think of today and not of what has happened and what we have been up to. All that would be forgotten once we are there. When we reach a certain point, of achievement in life, like when people climbed over to Mount Everest, they forgot all that was they had to face on the way. So you forget all that had gone wrong with you, all that you did wrong to yourself, and you just enjoy the achievement of your being. After receiving realization, as he said, the Kundalini passes through your fontanelle bone area. This is called as talu. And actually, you can feel first the throbbing here. You can feel. You can see with your naked eyes the pulsation of the Kundalini. With your naked eyes when it rises. You can see the rising of the Kundalini. Of course, some people have such a smooth sailing that you don't see anything, you are just there. But some have obstruction in the Nabi or the Swadhisthana is the second center. Then you do see Kundalini trying to push, trying to push. You can see very clearly in many people. Then it rises, you can see it with stethoscope, you can hear the lap tap going up till it reaches here. Kabira has said that when it reaches to the silent point of triangle, means here, the anahata, the sound of the heart sound like anahat, it is called the sound without the percussion, stops. That is the time when you get your realization. That is the time you get connected. That is the time you become subtler. That is the time you become collectively conscious. You become. Now, this is a very important word one must know. You become. You do not accept me on mental level. It is a happening within you. Your own awareness becomes enlightened. For example, I would say this room you come to, and it's all dark. When you come inside, you see this chair you think is the room, you think this carpet is the room. But when you put on the light, the whole thing becomes enlightened. The room becomes enlightened in the same way your awareness becomes enlightened, means your attention becomes enlightened. Your attention is outside. For example, you are paying attention to me. But if I say pay attention to yourself, you cannot. That's why this happening takes place. Because of this happening, your attention is sucked in. And then that attention becomes enlightened because that attention then enters into the realm of spirit. The spirit puts the light. I give an example of our gas lights. It's a very good example because we don't have them in India, but here it is easy to give that example. Is the gas light has got a little flicker going on. That's supposing is the spirit. And the Kundalini is the force of gas that comes in. When that comes close to this flicker, it gets enlightened. In the same way, your attention, which is not enlightened, becomes enlightened. That's how you become collectively conscious. Again, I say become. For example, those who are realized here, they are just like you to look at. Maybe there's a more glow on their faces, maybe. But they know where is your Kundalini. They can feel it within themselves. They know what chakras you are catching. You see on the hands, you start feeling. All these centers are of the sympathetic. For example, this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. These 7 centers become enlightened. You can feel it on your finger. If this is catching, that means there's something wrong with your throat. This is the center of Vishuddhi on the right hand side, means physical side. Now, here we have Alan, his uncle, got his realization long time back. He's a very great Saj Yogi today. And he is an archaeologist. He got his realization. And as usual, as the Western mind is, you see, there were about very few of them. So you start doubting whether it is correct or not. Let's find out. So when I told him that you have become, he could not believe. How can that be? How can that be? I mean, how can I become like that? So He told me, Mother, just now I'm feeling here lot of heat in this area. I said, this is all father's side. And this is the throat or this area of bronchus. You ask, telephone to your house, your father must be down with bronchitis. So he telephoned, the mother came in. He said, how is dad? He says, down with bronchitis. Then I said, all right, you rub it. Yeah, rub it nicely. Because his hands are now vibrating. It's flowing. There's vibratory awareness. I said, you rub it. Next day, the phone came. He's all right. Suddenly, we don't know what miracle has happened. It is a miracle in such a way that, say, I show you a television set here. And supposing you are villagers, you have never seen a television set. And I said, now, there are lots of pictures over here and sound and music here. He said, where? It is there. I'll show you just now, or magic. And I put it to the mains, and you start seeing the television. Say, oh God, you are a magician. In the same way, when your instruments start manifesting, you become a magician. It is all there, just to be awakened. It's all just waiting to be awakened. All this magic exists, and it is such a wonderful world. And then you become collectively conscious. When you become collectively conscious, you start feeling others. For example, you are going with somebody, a friend of yours, who is not realized, and you are a realized soul. So you ask the other person, have you got a headache? He said, yes. Why? How do you know? He said, I know, I have a little headache. You see, there's an indication comes, little heaviness. All right, he'll be all right. He rubs his head, and the fellow feels all right. When you are realized, you can raise the kundalini of others. You can give them realization. All of them are giving realization. But we do not carry a circus with us, you see. Like some people carry a banner or some sort of a big thing, or they stand on the streets and sing loudly, or they have a name. We do not carry any circus whatsoever. You are absolutely normal because the happening is within, not without. It's not a cheap thing to do. It's a dignified thing. It's your own dignity. You come up to your dignity, to your glory. And you don't do these cheap advertisements. All right, Sahaja Yoga has to spread slowly. It cannot spread just like that thousands of them will be there. Because we cannot have only members. Like we pay £5, you become member. In Sahaja Yoga, you cannot. We have no membership, no organization whatsoever. You pay some money, you become member. Oh, we have so many thousand members. So what's the use of having such members? Foolish things. You are just making fool out of them. Like saying that will make you fly. All this kind of falsehood and all that. Are you going to become birds now? Or frogs? Then another sort of things are, let us be vegetarians. This is another madness. It's all right if you don't feel like eating, don't eat. But these things are not important. The way we become vegetarians, you see, am I going to give realization to chickens? You have to be human beings. And they are the most important thing. In the eyes of God, all your big palaces are of no value. He doesn't value them. These are stones. All other material possessions you have, he doesn't value them. These are dust of his feet. But to him, a little bird which is aware is more important. It will protect it. To him, a human being is much more important than a bird. And to him, a realized soul is the thing for which all the angels, all the beauties, and all the guidance, and all the blessings of God are meant. If you are told you come and receive your self-realization, it looks really pretentious, I know. We've been trying all kinds of advertisement. I am a little, I should say, people say, Mother, you are shy of publicity, whatever you may call it. But I said, we cannot lose our dignity. Whatever you do, do it with dignity. Everything has to be done with dignity because we have to achieve our dignity. You are free to choose. There is no compulsion. But somebody said, I take money because then it compels people to be here. But why compel? Is the main point. Because if they pay for anything, then they want to go through it. Whether even if their necks are broken doesn't matter. This is something very different, absolutely different. It is a living process. Only difference is that at the time of Christ, we never had such halls and such seekers. He just talked about God. For that he was crucified. That was to show how human beings were foolish and stupid not to accept the real. But falsehood, hypocrisy, nonsense is garlanded, is paid for, has all the support of the kings and the queens and all that. And the reality has to grow very slowly. All the saints who were real have been tortured. Nobody understood them. But how they were enamored by horrible people like Rasputin, even today it is happening. You have to know that first you find out yourself. Then you will know who is real and who is not. The credibility of the whole thing should be this way, that those who are following any type of procedure, what have they achieved? Have they manifested any one of their own power? You see, your guru may be a great. There's one gentleman who told me that my guru can remove this glass from here to there, sitting down here. I said, what is the use of removing this glass from here to there? I don't understand. And why should God do it from here to there? Or he gives me diamonds. I said, really? He's an Indian? Then he should solve all our financial problems in India. Now why does he give you the diamond? Because you are a rich man. And how much have you given him? Of course, I have all the shraddha for him. He gets one diamond and he gives him the money which is worth 100. Why should God give you diamonds? If he has to give you, he'll give you absolute. Because he is absolute. He'll give you something of the highest value. Of course, as a byproduct, you get your physical being all right, your mental being all right, even your material being all right. Krishna has said, Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. When the yoga takes place, then the well-being works out. Not before. He didn't say Kshema Yoga. He said Yoga Kshema Vahamyaham. First the yoga. This is the union. When this takes place, then the well-being works out. How? Because there is the same center I was telling you is the center for our well-being and is the principle of Lakshmi. When it is awakened, our well-being is all right. But we do not become so rich that we end up in the casinos. We become sensible, wise people, materially all right, sufficient, satisfied, joyous, loving, understanding. A new race is to be born, and a new type of life has to come. You are the seekers of that life. But you must know that you have to cooperate a little. It's a horrid stuff. It just encircles your heart and you cannot see anything. And such colossal ones they are. But unless and until you get realization, you will not know that. There's a boy who has written a book about me, and before he wrote that book, he came one day very much frightened to me. He said, Mother, I have a colossal ego. I can see it. I'm stupid. And this colossal ego, I don't know how to get rid of it. It makes me stupid. But tell me one thing. I said, what? Was I Napoleon in previous lives? I said, what makes you think that way? He says, because I'm French, because I know how to draw and have such a colossal ego. These three combinations. Does it mean that? And if it means, don't tell me, otherwise I'll commit suicide. You start seeing all that. Once you start seeing all that, you start correcting it. You have to repair your car by getting out of it. When you are inside it, you cannot. That's what happens to you. You become the other. You become the self. And the Kundalini helps you to correct yourself. And you correct it. And you like to correct it. Because if the sari is not me, if I'm not identified with the sari, if it gets dirty, I want to get it clean. I don't feel bad if you tell me there is something. I see it. I want to clean it. That's what happens to you. And this is what has to happen. As I said many a times, and I say again, that I must have given 200 lectures in England so far, maybe more. I don't know. I've not yet counted all of them. There are tapes and tapes, and every time I speak, it goes on, the knowledge. I don't know, I don't read much, I don't have time to read at all. It all comes from here somewhere. But all this knowledge will come to you, and you'll be amazed how you'll be manifesting your powers in so many ways. The greatest power that you'll be manifesting will be of love. You'll become such a loving person that all your seriousness will vanish into thin air, and you will be chirping like birds and blossoming like flowers. Please come. This is what one has to achieve and get it in oneself. There are all types of people and all types of flowers, but all of them can be blossomed because the blossom time has come. The time has come. That's how it is going to work out. Let us see how it works out within you. Thank you very much. Now, I would like you to ask me some questions. It will be a good idea. Because as I told you, it's a very vast subject. Maybe something you must be wanting to know, which I may not have covered, because I have not covered even this bit of the subject. Please ask me questions.
You mentioned vegetarian. Do you think that it is not important?
Not important at all. It's not important. Because, you see, your attention should not be on food. Attention should be, if you ask me, I don't know what I had for my lunch. You see, it should be not there. Because we are vegetarians and all the time worried about vegetarianism is all wrong. That's not necessary. It is, I don't say that you be a glutton. It doesn't mean that either at all. You see, you have to be in the center. Eat as much as required for your body, not overeating. The attention should not be on the food. See, vegetarianism was introduced by Brahmins in India. Because, first of all, in India, the Brahmins were the only ones who knew the Brahma, means the ones who were realized souls. Realized souls were called as Brahmins, as Christian means baptized, you see. But then the Brahmins became a cult. They wouldn't accept that, because I'll tell you, the example is Vyasa, who has written Gita himself, was a son, illegitimate son of a fisherwoman. But he's a Brahmin because he was a realized soul. So the Brahmin word means the person whose self has been achieved is the Brahmin. Or the Brahmin Jati means the aptitude, a temperament. The one who has the temperament to go, you are all Brahmins because you are seekers of Brahma. You are the seekers of the divine power. So you are all Brahmins. And then these Brahmins, you see, when they wanted to start a cult, that a Brahmin can be born to a Brahmin and like a prenatal achievement. Just to establish that, they started all this nonsense that you should be a vegetarian, because it's very easy. See, if I say be a vegetarian, Very easy to be vegetarian. What is difficult in becoming vegetarian? In India especially, where mostly you have to eat vegetables. Nobody eats so much meat as you people eat here because we don't need it. It's very heating. Very little people eat. So become vegetarians. Very easy. So they put these things. Many nonsense they did. You see, like your priests have done it. It's like priests have said become nuns. Now this is all nonsense.